Alright, so I've cleaned up the join to the front to the rear fuselage. That piece pulled in alright. I just used a clamp to hold it and let it sit overnight, and then I put the putty around, which is perfect plastic putty, which is water soluble. But before I did that, the sides, so in between my tweezer tip there and there, had to be sanded because it was a bit of a step still. I was trying to hope to avoid it, but I couldn't. So I've sanded it flush and re-scribed. I've put in the end or the tips of the cannons, whatever's in this thing, but I don't know. I tried fitting them as per, where is that at? Yeah. The numbers called out there, and to me it sort of weren't aligning. My suggestion is cut them all off the sprue, clean them up, and go around and fit where you find it fits best. They need cleaning up, like that needs sanding flush, and I might put some CA glue and totally eliminate that gap, because trying to find this aircraft, the single seater, is the hardest one to find images of. There are images of it, but if you look up the Voodoo, it's all the bloody two-seater, which I don't think has the guns anyway. From what I can see, they look like it's one piece. It's all moulded in, so I might clean that up, make it like one part. They were too wide and too thick, so I sanded them on three sides. The tail, unfortunately, didn't fit how I thought it would. There's a bit of a step I'm going to have to clean up again, and on that bit will be easy enough, but here I'll have to, it's easy, but I'll have to rescribe again. I did thin the inside of the tail, hoping that it would make it better, but it didn't really. I haven't finished gluing yet. I have to glue the back part. That'll need a bit of putty. I mean, it's just the theme of this particular kit is it's a lot of work. It's just all there is to it. I've put on these Photo-etch pieces. Whether they survive being put onto the wing, I don't know, but anyway, I'm giving it a go. So you need to follow, they're all different lengths. Where are we at here? They're all different lengths, so I started at 1 and worked my way around the numbers and bent them on here, because you have to bend them in 2 positions as well, and they're very tiny, so I was using the wax pen. When I cut them on my glass, I got a glass, and you might see it on the edge of the camera. I have a glass cutting board there I use for cutting Photo-etch, and I find this blade a good curved blade, so I can rock it backwards and forwards. But that's just me. I do have U-Butte Photo-etch cutters that cost me a fortune, but I don't. Little things like that, they're hard to cut off, and I find that it still tries to bend Photo-etch, so I usually just use a blade. So I've airbrushed black inside here so I can paint that up. I'm almost at the stage putting the wings on. I won't do that one yet because I don't want to break those, but I've found I did another dry fit with the wings, and unfortunately when they go on with the front part of the fuselage on, you can see there's a gap, but you can't, if I pull that back in position, it's not as bad, but there's a small gap, and at this stage that's pretty much I can get that better underneath. It's a bit hard the way I'm holding it, but it's going to need putty there. You can't really. The only way you could avoid it is if you take off those bits so it pushes in tighter, but those Photo-etch pieces are going there, and that if you start doing that all that won't work. So I'll bite the bullet and putty it. Yeah, so I'll clean up, finish on the tail, clean that up, clean these up, and then it's finally time for those wings to go on. Alright, I'm just showing you how I'm tackling this step on the tail. Basically I'm sanding the hell out of it. This side wasn't as bad, I've sanded it back. So I just put tape on the lower side so I don't damage the recessed details there. So this side's, I have to rescribe that circular panel. This side I'm going to have to rescribe that panel line that runs down the side of the tail. And one in there, one down there, and that one in there. You tackle it however whatever works. So I've used the scraper on the spine. I've used this one in the curved section of that tail, and then just sandpaper. It's pretty coarse. Still got to get a bit more yet. It's nearly there. And then I'll use finer grits and go down, and then I'll have to polish it out. There's really no other way to tackle it. You don't want to take out all detail, but you can't have that big step, and you can't just sit here and go, oh, I'm just going to sand that edge, because you'll see it. You got to take it back so it blends in. If you start getting wearing for your tape, I'll just put a new piece down so I don't damage my panel lines I don't need to. Alright, what I'm going to do is paint on the inside where the wing will butt up into the intake section, just so if there's areas that's hard to reach later on, I've covered it. And I will paint the inside of the intake plate as well on the wing. So I've rescribed the lost panel lines and rivets when I sanded that tail section down. So that curved panel line, I just cut a strip of that vinyl tape and curved it. What else did I have to do? I put these in. They are too thick, so I had to sand them down. There's a couple, I don't know what purpose they serve, sort of Pt.4 or something on the tail there. It's a bit vague, so that bit on the tail I show you there from upside down. There is a slot for it, but I wasn't sure of the angle it sat at, so I looked up and just kept looking for images of it. Like I said, it's not the easiest aircraft to find pictures of. There's some pretty good ones though. Some of them you think they're all Mickey Mouse clean and that, but some of them are pretty battered and worn. There was a good picture of this particular one, and this is, I'm thinking I might be doing this one. That tail marking is just battered to hell. There's hardly any yellow left. That squadron insignia is all worn away, so there's plenty of opportunity to do it however you want. Well, you can anyway, it's a model, but a lot of people, oh, you can't do that, it didn't look like that. And but yeah, I always thought too that this was sort of a aircraft that was kept spotless, but apparently not. There's also some fantastic images of the earlier ones, prototype, with the big Pt.4 on the nose, and just good side-on view of it in flight with the sun shining out and all the weathering on the natural metal. Looks fantastic, but that is not the version I have before me. So anyway, so I'm going to paint in some metal colour on there, probably aluminium. I'm thinking I'll be doing the airframe aluminium, so I'll do that. Then I'm going to finally glue some wings on, but like I said, that once I get them on, there's going to be some more puttying involved, so I'll probably have to sit it aside again for a couple of days to let the putty, because putty, as you know, will shrink, so I'll pile it up, let it shrink, and then clean it up. So as you can see, got the right wing on. The rubber band's just helping it pull tight. There's still a gap there that I'll have to putty, but it is what it is now. I have managed to lose a couple of my little brackets. Will I replace them? Maybe. If I do, it'll just be a bit of plastic rod, really thin, like round rod or something, just to show it there's something there. If I do it, it's sort of a spot, it's hard to see. The windscreen is pretty clear part, but I dipped it anyway in this gauzy glass coat from AK. Normally I've got some Pledge floor care. This stuff dries quicker. Just the usual, you dip it and then wick off the excess onto some paper towel. If you're not happy first time around, just dip it again. I'll just put it aside so I don't get any dust on it. So I'll let that one wing dry off, set. I haven't glued the underside yet. I'll do the top, make sure it's right, then I'll come on the underside and then put the other wing on. When I do the other wing, I may not be able to use a rubber band. I'll just have to hold it till it sets.